Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So, today we're jumping into the world of whitewater kayaking. But not just the sport itself, we're looking at it through one specific trip.
That's right, on the Middle Tellico River in Tennessee. They're using a piece you shared from Clyde Outside as our guide.
And our plan is to unpack what makes this kind of adventure tick, pulling out the blend of like the waiting game, the planning.
The sheer beauty of the place, and maybe surprisingly, the really deep geology under the boat. We want to find those key nuggets in the source material.
Okay, let's get into it. The source makes it really clear the buzz for a trip like this, it starts way, way before you even see the river.
Oh yeah, it all comes down to one thing, basically, water flow. For kayakers, it's everything.
And this water, for the Tellico specifically, where is it coming from?
It's rain falling way up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Unicoi Range specifically. That water collects and funnels down through these gorges the river's carved up.
And it's not just any rain, right? The source highlights something specific.
Exactly. It really matters where that rain falls. It needs to hit the slopes on the near side of the mountain ridge. The valley is closer to the river's main channel. Rain on the far side might not help much.
Huh. So how do they even track that? Sounds complicated.
Well, the source describes paddlers basically living on their weather apps, checking radar constantly.
Like amateur meteorologists?
Pretty much. Getting texts days ahead of time. Stuff like, hey, it looks like a storm's brewing. Where are we thinking for the weekend paddle?
Okay, so they're anticipating, and then they use specific tools to know for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned AmericanWhitewater.org. That's a big one. And the USGS streamflow tables. Super important.
USGS, that's the Geological Survey. What do those tables show?
Right. They have these gauges, instruments actually in the rivers. They measure the water level, the flow rate in real time.
And kayakers know how to read those numbers.
Oh, yeah. They learn what the numbers mean for that specific river section. Too low, you'd be scraping your boat on rocks all day. No fun. Too high. That's the other end. Features like holes or eddies, places you might want to rest. They can become really powerful, even dangerous.
Okay, so there's a sweet spot. And the source gives an example for this trip.
It does. They saw the rain, watched the online gauge spike overnight, and then it started to level off. They were hoping for it and got about 1.9 feet for the next day.
1.9 feet, that was the magic number for the Middle Tellico.
Yep, signaled pretty much ideal conditions. And, as soon as that looked likely, the communication just exploded.
Phone's blowing up.
Totally. Texts flying. Gauge is 1.4 and rising. Tellico's going to go tomorrow. That's the alert.
I can picture it.
Then the plan solidifies. Meet at 11:00 a.m. Oosterneck. And the final word, game's on. All caps. Multiple exclamation points.
You can feel the excitement just reading it. Okay, Oosterneck pull-off, that's the meeting spot. What happens there?
That's where they set shuttle. The standard thing for river trips. Basically, you need cars at both ends.
Right, the put-in and the takeout.
Exactly. So you meet, consolidate gear, cram boats onto one or two vehicles, leave some cars at the downstream takeout point.
And then drive everyone and the gear up to the put-in spot. Makes sense. Avoids a long walk back.
Definitely. And the source is clear. For this trip, they picked the middle Tellico section.
Not the harder part.
Right. They specifically decided not to run the section called the ledges. That's where you find the really well-known rapids like Baby Falls, Diaper Wiper, and a tough class 4 called Jared's Knee.
So choosing the middle section suggests something about the day, maybe a bit more relaxed, or just what the group preferred.
Could be either, yeah. They were aiming for a different kind of experience, starting right at the put-in for that middle stretch.
Okay, shuttle's done, they're heading to the water, and the starting point is near a really famous landmark.
Yeah, Bald River Falls. It's one of the iconic views in East Tennessee, the source says. Absolutely beautiful.
Describe it a bit.
You have the Bald River just plunging like straight down right where it flows into the Tellico River. It's powerful. The source mentions a sense of reverence people have for it.
And something new has been built there recently.
Yes, a pedestrian bridge. An observation deck, too. Apparently it was a big project. It took about 2 years.
And that affected kayaking access?
It did. The source notes kayakers couldn't really get to the river there easily during construction, which is, frustrating for them.
But the bridge itself, ultimately a good thing.
Seems so. The source calls it a welcome improvement for visitors, gives great safe views, and crucially, helps protect the fragile ground around the falls. Better access, better preservation.
Okay. So from that stunning visual, the falls, the source shifts gears, it goes deeper. into the geology.
Yeah, this is fascinating. The idea that the river, the falls, they're all part of this huge ancient geologic story, like a puzzle being uncovered.
And the author has a geology background.
They do. And they mention always trying to figure out the why behind the rivers they paddle, though they admit fully understanding it is.
Yeah.
It's never
Like,
easy.
why it's so complex?
Well, think about it. Water cuts down through so many different rock layers, right? From different times, formed in different ways.
Okay.
It erodes things, exposes older stuff, moves rocks around. Plus, you have these massive forces involved. Over millions of years, mountains being pushed up.
Uplift.
Right, uplift. And then everything getting worn down and carried away, deposition. It's a lot happening, sometimes all at once, on different time scales.
Wow. Okay, so connect that deep time stuff to the actual paddling.
Yeah.
How do the rocks literally shape the rapids?
The source gives a really clear example. Right at the start of this middle Tellico run, near Bald River Falls, the river's cutting through super old, super hard rock, Precambrian metamorphic rock. Meaning it was formed deep in the earth under incredible heat and pressure like billions of years ago. It's the guts of the mountains.
Okay, ancient, tough rock.
And because it's so resistant, when the river cuts through it, you get steeper gradients, more dramatic drops. That's where you find those technical rock gardens and the Class 3 rapids.
Gotcha. Hard rock, tricky rapids. What about further downriver?
As you head towards the town of Tellico Plains, the geology changes. The river hits younger, softer rock layers, sedimentary stuff, like limestone.
Laid down later, less resistant.
Exactly. So the river has worn it down more easily, more gradually over time. The slope isn't as steep. The paddling becomes gentler, less intense rapids.
And the actual boulders in the river, the things kayakers dodge.
A lot of those are part of this massive ancient formation called the Ocoee Supergroup. We're talking over 700 million years old.
Whoa.
And they weren't just, placed there. They got broken up, shoved around by huge forces, ice freezing and thawing in cracks, massive floods.
Wow.
And then the constant flow of water sculpts them over millennia into the features, the playground that paddlers navigate today.
So the whole feel of the river, the type of challenge, is directly linked to rocks formed hundreds of millions of years ago.
Absolutely. And the source mentions those key forces always at work. The tectonic uplift pushing mountains up, erosion and gravity pulling them down.
Mass wasting, it called it?
Yeah, landslides, soil creep, that kind of thing. And then the river itself carrying sediment and dropping it. These things are happening now, just incredibly slowly from our perspective.
It really makes the river feel alive, dynamic, not just water flowing over static rock.
It really is, a constantly changing system.
Okay, so let's finally hop in the kayak.
Yeah.
From deep time to right now, what's it actually feel like paddling the middle Tellico on a day like the one described?
The source paints it as a classic Class 3 experience. Some technical bits needing careful maneuvering, these sections called boulder gardens.
Where you weave between rocks.
Exactly. And lots of fun, playful waves you can surf on the fly.
And that water level they aimed for, 1.8 feet. How did that feel?
Described as friendly. Enough water moving to make it interesting, create those features, but not so much power that it felt intimidating or overwhelming for someone skilled. Tests your reflexes, but stays fun.
The source had that great line, Whitewater is a moving classroom. What's that getting at?
It means every little thing you encounter on the river, a rock sticking up, a wave forming, the quiet water in an eddy behind a boulder, it's telling you something.
Telling you what?
About the riverbed underneath, about how the water is interacting with it. Rock placement, the current. It's all cause and effect right there in front of you.
So reading the river isn't just spotting where to go.
No, it's more like understanding the why. Why is the water doing that there? The source mentions, bouncing off rocks, sliding through gaps, even occasionally flipping over. Huh, yeah, it happens. But it's not random, it's feedback. It's learning that relationship between the water, the rocks, and your boat. Every trip, you understand a little bit more about the land hidden just beneath the surface.
And the overall flow of the Middle Tellico run itself, how does it progress?
Starts out pretty focused, intricate paddling through that rock garden section near the top. Then it kind of opens up.
Easier.
Easier in the sense of longer stretches of Class 3 rapids where you can see the path ahead more clearly. They call it read and run. And then it mellows out towards the end, a gentle paddle to the takeout spot.
The author clearly loves this run, calls it a favorite. Is it just the rapids?
Apparently not just the rapids. The source emphasizes this deep sense of place you get there. It's more than just the whitewater, which can change a lot depending on the water level anyway.
And part of that sense of place comes from the fact that it's never quite the same river twice.
Exactly. That's a key point.
Yeah.
Every time they paddle it, they notice changes. Small things, big things.
Like what?
Like maybe a tree fell in the last storm and it's lodged, weirdly, creating a strainer that's debris blocking the flow, potentially dangerous.
Okay, gotta watch for those.
Yeah. Or maybe a big boulder seems like it's shifted slightly after high water. Even just the color of the water might be different. It's always evolving.
So, how does that immediate, tangible experience, dodging rocks, feeling the current, noticing a new log jam, connect back to those immense geological forces we talked about?
Being right there in it, feeling the riverbed through your boat, it kind of forces the connection. The source talks about imagining. What did this place look like centuries ago? No roads, no bridges.
Just the river and the mountains.
Right. And thinking about the colossal power that pushed these ridges up, and then trying to grasp the time scale. How long will it take the river to wear them down again? Millennia upon millennia.
It brings that abstract geology right into the present moment.
Yeah, it underlines that history isn't just past events. It's these ongoing processes right now, shaping the landscape. Tectonics, erosion, deposition, they're all still happening.
And kayaking gives you this incredibly intimate perspective on it.
It really does. You're not just looking at the landscape, you're feeling it, interacting with the rocks, the water's power. It's very direct.
So, taking all this and the whole journey, from checking weather apps to feeling billion-year-old rocks under your kayak, why should this matter to, someone listening who maybe isn't a kayaker?
Well, I think it's about seeing a place like the Tellico differently. Not just as scenery, but it's this place holding an incredible dynamic story. A story written in water and rock.
It's an invitation to look closer.
Exactly. Whether you're standing on that new bridge looking down, or if you are an experienced paddler, maybe thinking about the geology next time you're out, it adds this whole other layer.
We've really traced that arc anticipation, planning, the beauty, the deep, deep history, and that immediate thrill on the water.
Yeah, seeing how a single day's adventure connects to these vast time scales is pretty amazing.
It shows how even something seemingly simple, like a day outdoors, can be packed with complexity and meaning if you know where or how to look.
Right.
So maybe a final thought for you to mull over. How does understanding the ancient and ongoing forces that shape a place change how you experience it? Even just for a moment, on a bridge or maybe on your own adventures. What other everyday nature experiences might be hiding their own deep, complex stories?